Okay, welcome everyone. Very excited to have you all here today. It's a special day, right? A beautiful day, amazing day, and just wanted to say namaste to everyone present here and everyone who will see us in the future. And namaste, Abhimanyu. So, how's the day been for you? How's it going today?
Oh, thank you so much. And of course, it's a special day. Today being Teacher Day, actually just overwhelmed by all the messages and wishes that many people very gratefully sent since morning. So a very happy Teachers Day to you all. I'm sure we all are whatever we are because of the great teachers that we had. So of course, very grateful for that myself. And actually, the topic today is also interestingly very aligned to what role a mentor, a teacher can play. Of course, mentor teachers are kind of play very similar roles. And for many of the folks who are listening to us today, while Arnav was not today, but we still got you all Arnav to take seat of Arnav. So, all right, let's get started.
Awesome. So, as you guys already know, right? So, my name is Aarnav Jindal, and I'm your host for the day. Then we have the amazing, exceptional co-founder of Scaler with us, Abhimanyu Saxena. So, taking this forward. So, firstly, as Abhimanyu rightly pointed out, taking a moment to recognize Dr. Radhakrishnan, the first Vice President of India and the second President of India, who we remember on the Teachers' Day, an exceptional man, a great leader for India. So, moving on, right? So, Teachers' Day, Abhimanyu, I just wanted to know from you. So many years in the industry, being a mentor yourself, being a teacher yourself. So, any special message from any of your former colleagues, former students, or anything special uh, that they have messaged you, and it's still with you today, and how it makes you feel.
Right. Interesting one, and of course, I do get plenty, uh, but it's I think hard to just pick one. But in general, what I see is that the power of skills, power of education is so big that often like when someone gets upskilled, and particularly when we talk about skills which are very relevant to the industry as well, the kind of impact that it has, one very interesting that I observed is that often is not about the impact on the individual itself, but often it also changes the entire families or entire community around the person, right? I will talk about one example. So there was this one young, of course, very hardworking gentleman who comes from a village, a very small village. His parents are from UP. His parents just had a small parcel of land on which they used to grow vegetables and sell it. Uh, uh, the net, I remember he told me this on a call that his family's net monthly income was about 5-7 thousand rupees. Um, there was, I think, he was talking about a time when there were floods in the eastern part of UP, and like their house was that mud brick house, which so it kind of got demolished in the flood, and they were literally sitting on top of the walls just to save their lives. And they got rescued, fortunately. And from there to today, that person is software engineer at Amazon. He earns more in a month than probably what his family used to earn uh, in the entire year, right? And then another interesting thing is that it didn't just change his life. He made sure that his younger siblings are kind of are going to getting the right education now. He is doing things for his local community. Actually, another friend of mine, who very old friend from college, who come from similar backgrounds. Now he works at Facebook in the New York office. He has donated, I'm sure, easily 10 CR to a school and various stuff in his town. So that is the power of education. That is the power of learning, right? That when people get educated correctly, it has and like what I very strongly believe is that the best people should become teachers. Unfortunately, traditionally, what happened is there are stories about who teachers are. That's the typical image of the teachers we have, right? Uh, And of course, if teachers are poor, there is no reason why the best people will go for that.
Yeah.
What I very strongly believe is that people who are best in their skills, they should be the teachers. Unfortunately, I think I'm very, very happy to see that in today's world of internet, that is happening now. That people who are best at the skills, they are the ones who are teaching online. And that is going to, what we are seeing right now is just, I think, tip of the iceberg. We are going to, I'm sure that in next 5, 10 years, we'll see an abundance of tech talent in India, and like that is going to change the entire economy. It's going to change the entire country.
Awesome. Awesome. I can see we have a lot of appreciators and followers of Abhimanyu here, and they're all going Happy Teachers Day. That's beautiful. Happy Teachers Day to Abhimanyu and to Scalar as well. Thank you so much, guys. That's really amazing. And on this great answer and on this amazing note, let's set some context for the session. So, as you know, the session titled Impact of Mentorship and Community in One's Life, right? So, we'll keep the session in two segments. First 15 minutes, we'll try to talk about mentorship, how important it is, and would like to know more from Abhimanyu, about his views on mentorship and similar things. Next 15 minutes, we'll try to talk about communities and how important they are. And moving forward, we'll be very, very happy and excited to take questions from you guys. So, do send in your questions time to time. We'll make sure that we take as many questions as possible. So keep on commenting, keep on being active. This will be a very fun session. So, Abhimanyu, starting with the mentorship session section here. So, a mentor is a term which can be defined in very different ways and is defined in a various different ways by many different people. So, wanted to know from you what comes to your mind and what is your understanding of the term mentor?
Right, right, right. So what I believe is that unlike let's say mentor is someone who have been on the journey, who have been through the path that you intend to go through, what your dream path might be, who have been at least few years ahead of you on the journey that you want to be on, right? Mentor is not necessarily, let's say, there's a difference between actually instructor and mentor. Instructor
Yeah,
is only going to give you instructions. He's going to, give very to the point, like if you want to learn something, maybe you can, find an instructor as well. A mentor, however, is supposed to be more of a friend, more you may consider that, an elder sibling who can who knows you very well in person, because mentorship is not just about, mentorship cannot be say I cannot mentor 1,000 people at the same time. I can take a class for 1,000 people at the same time, but I cannot mentor 1,000 people at the same time. Mentorship is about knowing someone personally, knowing what are the fears of an individual, knowing what are the dreams of an individual, knowing what are the strengths and weaknesses of an individual, right? Like just the way, let's say, I might know my younger brother, or how my elder brother might know me, knowing someone at that level, right? And then being able to tell him that whatever the dreams are, of course, like, everyone can have a different path in life. There's no one set path of success, right? But a
yeah,
mentor would be able to tell you that, whatever path you want to be on, these are the optimizations, right decisions, or avoidance of wrong decisions that you can take, right? Mentor, in a way, you can say that, like often when I speak to someone who I look up to, I ask them this question: that what would you advise to yourself when you were my age, right? And they are like, I look at them as a time traveler, right? They
yeah,
might have been like me when they were my age, when they were in my situation, right? And they can tell me that, when you see, these are the things that worked really great for me, so make sure that you are doing them. These are the things that I now realize, looking, like, of course, no one have a perfect journey. I can look back at my life. I can say that these are the mistakes that I have had made, right?
yeah,
But if I'm mentoring someone, I can make sure that they do not make those mistakes. I know what were the bets, what were the maybe, risky decisions that I made, and I can make sure that I encourage them to make them, because I know that they work, right? So mentoring is, like, that is what I believe, that, that is what mentorship is about. Mentorship is also not a transactional thing. You cannot say that, I will go speak to a mentor for 30 minutes, and, suddenly I will have all the realization, and I will know everything. Mentorship
yeah,
generally accumulates over time. The longer
yeah,
you spend, like, generally the people who I consider as my mentors, I would have known some of them for maybe 10, 15 years, some for 2, 3 years. Uh, but at the same time, like, it's not, mentorship doesn't mean that you just have one mentor. You can have many mentors, and you should have many mentors. There might be different mentors who, have expertise in different areas, different fields, uh, and you keep creating more mentors, right? So one thing that I kind of make sure that I do as well, that I keep trying to find new mentors for myself. Uh, so I think, yeah, like, that is what I see what a mentor is. That someone who can, kind of, who knows you really well, uh, who knows, how I can be, how can I stand on top of their shoulders? How can I, make sure that I leverage all their experiences and maybe end
Yeah.
up doing at least a little better than what they have been able to do.
Definitely, definitely. I think this point is really interesting. That you can teach 1,000 people at a time, but when you need some mentorship, there needs to be some that direct connection between two people, right? They should understand what are your concerns, what are your pitfalls, and how someone can guide you. For that, there needs to be that one-to-one connection. Beautiful, beautiful. So, moving on, Anshuman. So, so why is having a mentor important anyway? Like, why should one look for a mentor? Why do I need a mentor? Why do you need a mentor? You
Right,
are already doing so great in life,
right,
and
right.
like, what are the advantages of having one?
Right, right, right. No, so see, finding a mentor is not about whether you are doing great in life or not. The fact is that we, like everyone, anyone can always do better. Right?
Yeah,
Mentorship is not a painkiller; it's a protein, it's a vitamin. Right? Uh, so you do not take protein or vitamin because you have pain. You take proteins and vitamins because you want to remain stronger. You want to keep getting
yeah,
stronger. You want to keep getting fit. Right?
yeah,
So that is what mentorship is about. Like, why should one have mentor? Actually, everyone should have mentor. This is fairly well researched data as well to back this up, that like 90% of the people, actually rather 90 to 95% of the people who have a mentor end up growing almost twice or thrice faster than the people who do not have a mentor, right?
nice,
And it's no
nice,
rocket science, right? It's pretty obvious that if I have someone, let's say if I'm working as a software engineer, if there
yeah,
is someone who keeps telling me that, when you, like, let's say I talk about myself 10 years back when I was just starting my career as a software engineer, right? If I have just, I had my, say office seniors, college seniors, who would tell me that, all right, you are going to work on, a recommendation engine. You want to learn a little bit about machine learning, read this book. And even in that book, do not waste your time, going through all of it. It's a book with maybe 2000 pages. These are the chapters that you should read, which are the most profound ones, right? uh,
yeah,
or they might just tell me that, like read about, let's say, open source code of this particular library, and you will understand, you will know what you need to know, right? Or they might introduce me to people who are the best in this space, right? Now
yeah,
what is that going to mean is that in 3 months I might end up accumulating knowledge about AI, ML, data science, as much, maybe, people might end up spending 2, 3 years to accumulate the same amount of knowledge or
yeah,
expertise, right?
definitely.
So mentorship, basically, mentorship is a catalyst for you to grow faster. That is why people should have mentors, right? So as I mentioned that while 90 to 95% of the people who have mentors end up growing much faster, interestingly, only 20 to 30% people actually have mentors. Maybe if I ask the audience as well, that how many of you
Yeah,
consider you have access to a mentor who, who you think you like for whatever, area, and particularly if we talk about, let's say, a career mentor, right? How many do really have career mentors? Very, very few. Uh,
yeah,
so yeah, I strongly believe that everyone should have a mentor. Like, mentoring is more like, kind of, if you are working out, it's more like, getting steroids for your growth without any side effects.
yeah.
Only side effect will be faster growth, or just like adding catalyst to your process of improvement and growth.
Awesome, awesome. I think the analogy between a mentor and a catalyst is really
Yeah,
beautiful because that's what really happens. If someone has the experience, someone has the direction. So what they do is they make you sit on their shoulders, and then they can see a certain way, and they let you see farther away. That's how the experience builds up, and that's, I think, what you should
right,
also do later on in life. That's how mentorship works, and
right.
again, so amazing, amazing things. Now, I mean, your next question would be regarding mentors only. So, Scalar, as I understand, it has had a lot of great mentors. you guys pick fabulous mentors to mentor our students, and they have achieved phenomenally. That's very well known. So, how do you pick a mentor? Be it work for
Right.
yourself or maybe for someone else.
Right. No, so I can talk about, like, we are very grateful and fortunate to have, a community of thousands of actually, great mentors. Many of them who even I look up to. There are times where I might would love to get some guidance on from them. What I see is that, like, with mentorship, most important thing is the person has to be just a little ahead of where I am, right? One, like, if I say that, if I try to depict this visually, if there's, let's say, a hill that we all are climbing, the
Yeah.
mentor shouldn't be someone who is already at the top of the hill. If I'm at the bottom, the mentor, like someone who is already at the top of the hill, might not be the best mentor. He's supposed to be who is already enough ahead of me, enough where he can tell me that, what I might encounter on my path, but
Yeah.
not so far away that, there's a disconnect, right? Second
Yes.
is that the mentor has to have, like, practical hands-on experience with it. Again, if I,
Mhm.
try to map it with the analogy of, climbing a hill, it's not about, someone who have read thousands of book on climbing a hill would not be able to mentor me. Someone who has climbed the hill will be able to mentor me.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it has to be someone, who has been through the journey, going through it. Another very important point that I see is that, like, and these are the same things that we also try to, ensure when we are kind of onboarding someone as a mentor on the platform. So another important part is that, you know like, mentors should have the similar kind of background as mine. So if someone has not been in my shoes, they might, like, let's say if I'm climbing the hill barefoot and I mentor who climb the hill with the best gear, they
Mhm.
might tell me that, just do it. It's not really that hard. But my situation is
Yeah.
different. My journey is different,
Yeah.
right? So another important thing, while figuring out mentors is people who have, who can relate with where their mentee, is coming from, right? Another very important part about mentor is that, like, and this is actually a very important skill to have as well, which is about humility and knowing that it's okay if I don't know something, right? Mentor
Yeah.
might not have all the answers to your questions. He's not supposed to be a quiz master who will just have answer to your questions, but he is
Yeah.
someone who can help you find the answers, right?
Yes.
So
Yes.
it is also a very important quality for any mentor to have that humility, that, if I don't know something, that's okay. I don't know this, but let's try to find the answer together. I
Yeah.
have spent little more time trying to find answers, so maybe, together me and my mentee might be able to find the answer quickly and, in a better way. So yeah, these are some of the, like, factors that I see that a good mentor should have, and, like, we employ the same things when we are trying to figure out who would be a good mentor in the culture of Scalar, in the learning and growth culture of Scalar.
Awesome. Awesome. So I think Saravya in the comments is also talking about how mentors are really important. I think it hits home with a lot of people. And she has a lot of great sports people as mentors. Amazing. PV Sindhu, Magnus Carlsen. Amazing. Amazing. Yeah. Based on your field or maybe in general life, the kind of direction that you're taking, you can have different mentors. That's completely fine and really interesting to have such mentors. I think one more thing that I feel is being a mentor. Let's say I have a great mentor, right? As when you pointed out very well, there should not be someone who's already at the top of the hill, but someone who is just ahead and has had similar experiences, is has been through similar experiences, so that they understand me well and can guide me accordingly, right? Second thing that I personally would look for in a mentor, and Abhimanyu, I would love to hear from you on this as well. So I want that person to, while they are ahead of me, they should be trying to climb as well. It should not be someone who has just achieved a stature, but they are conveniently
Right.
sitting there and okay, I can guide someone who is trying to reach that level. But they should themselves have the strive to go ahead, go farther, and achieve more things.
Right. No, absolutely. As I also keep saying that the best teachers of future will be all practitioners, right?
Yeah.
Actually, historically, if we see that in the education system, people who teach, they only teach. They do not really do anything, to kind of apply that knowledge into practical world,
Yeah.
right? Uh, But when we talk about like if I just put aside the let's say the research or the pure academics, but when we talk about any of the professional learning, right, any skill based learning, right, then it's very
Mm-hmm.
important the person who is guiding you is the practitioner himself or
Yeah.
herself, right?
Yeah.
So I 100% agree with you, Arnav, on that. That the best mentors wouldn't be pure academicians. The best mentors would be practitioners.
Definitely. 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 Cool. So I think we have had some easy questions till now. Let's throw a curveball at Abhimanyu right now. So Abhimanyu, next question. Coming from ancient India, I love to read about the ancient education system in India. I think that was the best education system, and somehow I think even with Scalar, we are trying to revive that. So the question being, we come across two kinds of people that we already talked about, right? One is our teachers, and one is our mentors. These are the people we try to gather knowledge from. So
Correct.
India has had the concept of gurus, right? We had dharamshalas and locations like you would go to a temple. There you have a guru, and you go to them, and they will teach you. So who would you call a guru in this situation? Is it the teacher or is it the mentor? And why?
Right, right, right. No, so actually, this concept of guru, at least in my understanding, the role of guru is actually slightly different from the role of a mentor. As I mentioned, that what we see a teacher or guru as is more of a source of knowledge, right?
Right.
There is just a one-way flow of knowledge. Guru tells you something. This is how it works. This is what it is, and the call it instructor, a teacher, a guru. That is what how that functions, right? It is almost actually like kind of like when you want to understand something absolutely no, like that is what a guru's role is, right? However,
Mhm.
mentor's role is actually slightly different, and actually, I'm thinking if there is a correlative or a similar thing that exists in the mythology, but at least for now, I'm not able to recall any. But mentor's role is slightly different. As I said, the mentor is not. So, for example, again, if I go back to the rock climbing example, a guru might be someone who tells me about various kind of terrains I can expect, what should my proper gear, what things I should be careful about while climbing. But mentor is, like someone who is just walking with me, just a little ahead of me.
Yeah.
Right? Again,
Yeah.
like there is a difference. There is a difference. Both are very, very important tools, of course. To grow and to accumulate skills. I think both are important, but the two are different. Right? With your mentor, you might not be sitting in a class with your mentor every single day. You might maybe catch up with your mentor once in a month, once in a quarter, sometimes maybe a couple of times in a year as well. But they would be able to just tell you directionally that what things you are doing which are right, what things you should stop doing. So that is what the difference between a mentor and guru is.
Nice, nice. I think so. Based on that, would you say that if we combine a teacher and a mentor, would you call that a guru? Would you call them a guru?
Right, right, right. Like at least in my understanding, my limited understanding, a guru's role, yes, actually, in some ways you may say so. But like technically, one of the biggest difference that I see that, like at least this I'm drawing from my experiences, that I do not find the need to speak to my mentor every day. It's okay if I
Right.
speak to them, like because there is more action on me. The mentor would give me some action
Yeah.
item, and then maybe for a month or 2 months or 3 months, I will be working on that, right? Versus, let's say, if I look at my gym trainer, so I do look at my gym trainer as my guru, right? But I will be
Yeah.
spending time with him pretty much every day. He will be correcting every single
Mhm.
thing with me. So
Yeah.
yeah, like to some extent, yes, there are quite a few things that overlap between a guru and mentor as well. But I do see that the two are kind of different.
Okay. Okay. Nice. Nice. Guys, do let me know. What are your views? What do you think? Who is a guru? Who is a teacher? Who is a mentor? What's the difference? Would love to know your views. Everyone has some really interesting points to contribute here. So do write about that in the comments. And there was this really funny comment by Ritvik. So he is talking about engineering teachers in college who don't have any interest in teaching. I mean, maybe so he's talking about teachers who can improve themselves. I think we personally feel this. Yeah. although I see the scenario improving a lot these days, right? Teachers are getting better. We do have some interesting. So now teachers and colleges have to compete with institutes like Scalar. So they are trying to improve and they have to up their game as well. So I think the situation is improving. But yeah, I think Ritvik, a lot of people do feel what you're feeling, and it's general consensus among
Yeah. I would also like to add to the point of Ritvik that yes, we have to, address the elephant in the room that yes, the quality of teaching in colleges in the past, like of course there are colleges and professors which are great as well. I wouldn't say that, like I really have been fortunate to have some teachers in the college as well who definitely played an exceptional role in whatever we are. But on a higher level, if we talk about let's say a lot of other colleges as well, if we just take away like there are few to take away few colleges and few professors who are very driven and dedicated to what they do, there is a systematic reason behind it. It's not that these teachers are bad people. No, they are not. But the thing
yeah,
is that if you look at it traditionally, as I was saying in the very beginning as well, that for some reason in India, teaching has always been probably the worst paying profession.
yeah, I know.
And if it is a profession, like if it is a profession which is not really paying well, why would someone who can earn a lot more in doing something else would do it? Like, why would you or me or
Yeah,
anyone else do it? So I think that that is the root cause which led to that mostly people who sometimes, like at least we talk about, let's say, colleges which are not really that focused on, the quality of the outcome or learning of their students. If you look at what are the salaries or what kind of salaries do they pay to the teachers or professors there, it's
yeah,
peanuts. Trust me.
yeah,
An entry level software engineer will be earning more than a professor with even 10 or 20 years of experience. And if
yeah,
that is happening, how can someone remain motivated, right? So the problem actually lies somewhere else. Uh,
yeah,
but the great thing is that with the power of internet, this is changing very very fast.
definitely.
Teachers are getting paid really well when we talk about any online learning platforms. The best
Yeah,
of the best in the industry come and teach. Like as I'm very glad to see that even at Scalar, the kind of people who have left jobs at companies like Google or Facebook or Amazon or Microsoft to come and teach. It's a signal of how great things will be in future, right?
yes, yes,
So yeah, things are
yeah.
changing. Of course, there have been systematic reasons because of which the teaching haven't been the best in the past. But the good thing is that it's changing very fast.
Beautiful. Amazing. I think that's what we need to recognize, guys. With everything that's happening, there's a reason, there's a causality behind it. And if you understand that, you understand why something is happening and why someone or an institution is a certain way. So, very well pointed out by Abhimanyu. And I think, as he mentioned, we are seeing the change, especially with the kind of quality of the teachers that we have at Scalar. That's beautiful, amazing mentors from amazing instructors, mentors from everywhere. And you just need to create the right kind of environment for them to come in and contribute. That's the thing that we are definitely helping with that Scalar. So, moving on to the next section of the session today. So, next we are going to talk about communities. So, Abhimanyu, I would love to know from you what would you define as a community?
Right, right, right. So, as important as mentorship is, equally important is like, as we often say, that you are average of five people that you spend time with, right?
Yeah,
So basically, and who are the five people that I'm going to spend most amount of time with? Those are the people. Those are going to be the people, around me, like in the community around me.
yeah,
If like your growth will only be dependent on who are the people that you are interacting with, what kind of people you are chit chatting with. Your even the quality of discussions, quality of conversations, actually entirely dependent. Like, see, we none of us are special. None of us are special. That's a
yeah,
fact. We are only a product of who we were surrounded by
definitely.
earlier, now, and who we will be surrounded by in future, right? So community is nothing but there is this concept of third place. Your first place is your home, right? You are born into it. Your siblings, parents. It's not your choice. This is what you get, and it's probably one of the strongest bond you have, right?
Yeah,
Your second place is your work or maybe your college, where again you might go there by a choice. You might choose the college. You might choose the company you are working in, your workplace. But again, you are going to workplace not necessarily because you just want to go there. You go there because there is another reason to it. You go to college to get a degree, right? You go to workplace because you need to earn.
Yeah.
Some might, also enjoy it so much that they want to do it anyway. But there's always another thing, right? And then there's the third
Yeah.
place. The third place is the community, right? So
Yeah.
the community is the place where you want to go. There is no reason for you to be there, but you want to be there. Right? You enjoy
Yeah.
being there. You know it's a great place for you. You are heard, and you can share your things with others. You are very fascinated by the other things like that others share at that place. Right?
Yeah.
We in one way or other we are like even like there is one world of virtual communities on internet, right? But
Yeah.
communities are also in the real world out there. Let's say your let's say if you play cricket, right? Then your cricket team, the ground where you go, that is also your community, right? There might be a barber shop like in the
Yeah.
old days. Some of you might not have seen that, but in the smaller towns in the older days, at the barber shop people will just sit and chit chat, right?
Yeah.
Over the weekend you will just sit there, maybe you will get a haircut, maybe you won't, but even then you will just chit chat with other people there, right? So
Yeah.
these are the communities, right? Now, in the earlier world, you could only be part of communities which are physically around you. If there's a cricket team around you, you can be part of that. If there is a temple is also one example of community, right? Like people go to temple and spend some time in the evening, right? Again, but in the older world, you can only be part of communities which are physically around you. Now, one very beautiful thing that has evolved over time is that the internet communities, you can be closely involved with thousands of people from across the world, and you can find your kind of people there, right? The kind of people that you want to hang out with.
Yeah.
And that's actually very, very powerful, right? So even at Scalar, actually one of the most powerful thing that I see, the kind of the serendipity and growth opportunities and the learning that gets created just because there is a group of very focused, motivated, hardworking people together, and they have guidance of the people who have done what you want to do in future as well. The power of that community is tremendous, right? Like similarly, if I talk about why do people from, let's say, better colleges, let's say MIT, Stanford, Harvard, IIT Bombay, IIT Hyderabad, what is there about these colleges that people there ended up doing better statistically? It doesn't mean that people there are special. No, they are not. Trust me. I have seen a lot of people at such places. There is absolutely nothing special about them. The special is about that community, right? You
Yeah.
are surrounded by a group of people who are all motivated. That's all, and that creates a massive value, right? Why I very strongly believe that in future, which college you studied it at wouldn't matter at all, because now the real power of that colleges, which is community, has come on internet. There are very powerful communities that exist on internet, which anyone can be part of. And once that got created, then like there's no reason for anyone to have any upper hand because I went to a certain college.
Yeah. Right. So
And actually,
that
I
hits.
take a lot. Yeah, I just take a lot of pride in also saying that the quality of virtual community that is is as powerful as that exist at any of the bestest colleges in the world, if not better than them. So I think that's and like we are of course also working on some ways to make it even more open, right?
Yeah.
I think Spinner Forever is something that we are working on. Would be launching it very very soon. That is something where we are going to bring this power of communities to everyone.
Right, right. So I think this is a really interesting thing that even I observed, right? How you get into a good college is defined by those 2 years that you put in 11th and 12th. That's just the sum of that.
Right.
But what made me different from, let's say, someone from Triple IT Hyderabad, someone from an IIT, or someone from an IP college, it was not the teachers. The teachers are unanimously the same everywhere. The teachers are definitely the same. Their interest and their incentives are definitely the same. What changes is the kind of people that you're around. It's the kind of things that those people talk about and the kind of motivation that they have. And that, when that surrounds you, that changes your way of thinking, of how you structure your life, how you structure your future, and how you think. And as Abhimanyu also pointed out, you are the average of 5 people you surround yourself with. So I think that is that phenomenon. And also the household knowledge, the family knowledge of uh, have good friends. Your mom is always after you, अच्छे दोस्त बनाओ, अच्छे से पढ़ो, ये सब करो. So that's the reason, right? So that comes from an ancient lineage also. So awesome, awesome. So next, moving on. Now, like, how do I pick the right community? There are so many communities out there, virtual communities, other communities that I can find locally. So how do I find the right community for me to join? And like, why should I even join a community? What is the right time to join one?
Right, right. Actually, the right time to join the community is now. It's not about, it's never too early. It's never too late. So, for example, even if you have just entered college, it's definitely, like the sooner. Like, for example, if I look back at my own journey, like a lot of things that if I knew, which I got to know when I was 25, if I had known them when I was 18, I would have been able to do the same things that I was able to do when I was 28. Like probably I would have achieved the same thing by the time I was 22. So
Yeah,
by joining, doing anything right sooner, you are only accelerating your timeline. Right? That being
yeah,
said, it's never too late either, right? So, for example, there are people who like this is pretty counter to the traditional thing that is, a lot of people believe that yeah, if I do something in my early 20s, then only I will be able to do stuff. Otherwise, it's too late. It's not true. It's absolutely not true.
never
Uh,
late.
there are people who kind of learned new skills and ended up becoming the world authority in that
Yeah,
after they were 40. There are massive number of examples, and actually I have first hand seen that. Like even in scalar, for example, I have seen people with even 15, 20, 25 years of experience who would come join the community, be very deeply integrated in the community, work hard for 7, 9 months, and after 7, 9 months, you will see that they are no less than they are as capable as anyone else with all the fundamentals, and like they are very deeply integrated in it. So it's never too late, it's never too early. Now is the best time to be part of.
right, right. Awesome. So again, I think going back to one question I have is like, how do I pick one? I have a lot of interests. I want to do a lot of things, but everything as a community, right? So out of the five interests that I have,
Yeah.
which one should I pick to join a community for? Because it takes certain time, right, to understand and to contribute back as well. So how do I pick the right community to join?
Right, 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 right. Right. I will maybe before talking about what kind of communities you should join, I will also talk about what kind of communities you shouldn't join. Right. Uh,
Yeah,
so you should. So one very common thing that exists is that like joining anything out of fear of missing out, which is called FOMO,
yeah.
right? That you shouldn't do, right? You shouldn't just try to that everyone else is doing it, so I also have to do it. Uh, that's not really the right reason to do anything. So you shouldn't do anything out of FOMO. Often, if it so happens that you'll see that everyone is doing there, so let me also do it, right? Why you should join a community? What kind of communities you should join? It's basically and first thing is that it doesn't mean that you are supposed to join only one community, right? You can be part of multiple communities, right? You might be going to your cricket meetups, you might also go to the temple in the evening, you might also chit chat at the barber shop. It doesn't mean that however, the kind of communities you should pick first is, as I mentioned, that you will be average of the five people that you spend max time with, right? So you would want to make sure that you are spending time with people how you want to become. If
Yeah.
you do not like, if you see a community where there are a lot of people who you do know that you do not want to be like them, like I can tell about myself that let's say when I was a teenager, right? We all have that few years in our teenage where we would love to hang out with people who are clueless, but I do not want to be like them, right?
Yeah.
But I am still hanging out with them, right? That is what you
Yeah.
shouldn't be doing. You should
Mhm.
ask yourself that the kind of people that I am hanging out with, or like the communities that I am joining, am I sure that this is how I want to become? Right?
Mhm.
If you feel so, then only you should hang out there. If you do not want to be like them, you shouldn't hang out. Period. Because
Definitely.
otherwise, you will definitely end up regretting what you have become. Right?
Hmm.
And trust me, there is none of us are special. Don't feel that I am special, that I will be in this environment, but I will end up differently. You will
Yeah.
not. No one ends up differently.
Yeah.
That is what you should be looking at. And second is that, again, we should be part of communities which where, again, communities are not just about, let's say, hard skills, but also about the culture, right? Each community have
Yeah.
their own culture. Right? Does it align with you? Can you, like, do this community have values and cultures that you also strongly believe that I hold in high regards? Or is it something that you do not really believe in, right? Like, let's say there is a religious community, but which is extremely, say, hateful, and you do
Mm.
not want, you do not agree with that, then you shouldn't be part of that community. But you feel that, there's another community which is still a religious community, but it is very peaceful, and it promotes, harmony, and you believe that is what you believe in as well. So that is the community you should be part of. So I think, like, it's not just about tech communities, but in general, you should be part of environments that you feel that aligns with your core values as well.
Very well said. I think communities, you should like communities are never really restricted to just your profession, be it the kind of people you want to hang out with. Let's say you go to a temple, there you find peace, Then you have some tech groups where you can learn about a certain skill. Then you have some groups where you can learn maybe from going from engineering to product management or a management role.
Right.
So a lot of communities. So just try to see which one fits your goal the best.
Right.
What is on your path to your path of success, right? And I think that's, as Abhimanyu also pointed out, great way to pick communities and be part of one. Would love to know from you guys. What do you think are the right communities to join? Like, how have you joined any communities? What you were able to learn from these communities, etc. Would love to know in the comments, guys. So moving on to the next question, Abhimanyu, and after that, guys, we are very excited to take your questions as well. So you can start sending your questions. Looking forward to those. So the next question, Abhimanyu, to you would be, being part of a community is just one thing.
Yeah.
When you when you join the community, right? Uh, what would be what would be the etiquettes that someone should have when joining a community, and how do you derive the most value out of it? That's another science. Joining one, a good one is one science, but deriving value back from it is another science.
Right. No, that's a very good question actually, because the fact is that particularly when we talk about online communities, only a few, I might say that maybe only 20-25% of the people actually derive the full value of the community.
Yeah.
First important part is that when you are in a community, you shouldn't be a silent observer, because like, you will only derive value from the community when you give back to the community. What
Definitely.
you can see is that your interactions, your engagements with other people in the community will exponentially increase when you start contributing to the community. Right?
Hmm.
Community is actually about, for the people, by the people. Uh, so that is one most important thing. That is one mistake that I see a lot of youngsters. One, because you are a little shy, you do not want to stand out, so you just remain a silent observer that what is going on here. You should try to kind of share your opinion, give your inputs, whatever, in whatever way you can contribute to the community. You should definitely do that. Second one, while sharing your opinion, contributing as well. Another important part is that when you are part of community, you must respect opinion of others as well. The beautiful
Yeah.
thing about human opinions is that we might all have our own, and that is totally okay. My opinion might not align with the opinion that Arnav might have, or vice versa, but that is totally okay. That doesn't mean that I should disrespect, or Arnav should disrespect me, or I should disrespect
Yeah.
him. So kind of making sure that you are very respectful to others opinion as well is also super important, because when you are willing to hear others, then others naturally are also willing to hear you lot.
Definitely.
That being said, you should also ensure that generally each community has certain, you may say, discipline, ethics outlined. Right?
Hmm.
Again, if I give a map, kind of correlation with, let's say, a religious place, let's say a temple or a mosque or a kind of church, each would have certain etiquettes that they follow. Right? If you,
Yeah.
let's say, enter a temple wearing your shoes on, it's natural that you will not be welcome there. You will not be able to derive the value of the temple,
Yeah.
right? So it is important that when, if you are new to any community, make sure that you take some time to understand what are the rituals, rules, that this community follows, and try to abide to them. That's expected. That is why you are part of the community. That is a kind of, you may say that's the pro code that everyone in the community has agreed to. That let's follow them.
Yeah.
So I think that is also important, because if you don't, then suddenly, like naturally, people will not like you. Right? If you
Mm.
go to an Apple wearing shoes, people there will not like you, and you want to be liked in a community. That's, I think, that is why you are in the community at the first place, because you want to be
Yeah.
liked there, right? So I think these are some of the things. Of course, then of course, there might be various events happening. Like for example, uh, on Scalar, we have a public community on the Discord. Uh, there are a lot of events that keep happening there. So you might want to keep a tab on them. You do not want to miss. Like, you never know that someone really, really you look up to is there, and you have a chance to speak to them, ask their questions to them. But to leverage all that, you will have to keep a close eye on when these things are happening, so that
Yeah.
you can plan it out then, right? So yeah, these are some of the things. Another, like, I think another very, very most powerful part of community is making friends, making connections for life, right?
Yeah.
I think that is also super important when you are part of the community. Make sure that you get to know people at a personal level. Make sure that people get to know
Mhm.
you at a personal level. Make strong friends. The powerful part is that in the today's world of internet, very, very strong bonds, friendships do get created even without meeting the person in real for long. I can talk about, like people who I interacted through, let's say, coding communities in 2007, and I met them in 2017 for the first time after 10 years. Right? But
Mm.
before meeting in person, that person would have made an investment into my company. That person would have maybe made me job offers. That person would have, like all of that has happened, and there's a sense of very close friendship with the person.
Yeah.
Even before, like, I meet that person in person after 10 years, right? So that is the beauty of metaverse. That, and actually, it's reality. We all are living in a metaverse now, right? So yeah, do take, leverage the power of the metaverse that we live in.
Awesome. Awesome. So I think Manisha said what many, and personally, I was also thinking Abhimanyu sir should also start teaching life lessons. Would love to listen to him. Again, okay, Raj Sharma is also saying that. Thank you so much, guys. So, Abhimanyu, your thoughts on this? Anything on this?
About life lessons.
Yeah,
Oh, I am a learner myself, so I'm just learning myself. But like, just make sure that you join this chit chat, chai pe charcha that we do every Sunday. Whatever I have learned since last week, I will make sure that I do share them. But yeah, I think life lessons are something that we all keep learning throughout the life. There is never, if you ask me to teach JavaScript, of course, I can say that I will take 3, 4 classes and I will be able to teach you JavaScript, almost everything of fundamentals of JavaScript. Life lessons is much bigger curriculum, which I am
right.
still learning. So, yeah.
So to learn life lessons and to learn more about tech in general, maybe you can just follow Chai Pe Charcha and keep listening to Abhimanyu every week. So let's take some questions from the community, right? Really, really interesting questions. We have one from Siddharth, right? He says that I'm a mechanical engineering student. Can Scalar help me to get a good tech job? Yeah.
So see, like, no one gets you a job. You grab the job. Someone can help you build the skills that will get you the job, right?
Yeah.
If you are part of scalar community, for sure, like, you will have interactions. You will get to know what you should be learning. You will have a lot of supports to learn that, right? But as I said, no one gives a job to anyone. The fact is that we shouldn't feel that anyone gives a job to anyone.
Yeah.
Once you build the capabilities, you get it, you earn it, you deserve it, and no one gives it to you.
Yeah.
But Scalar can definitely help you. The community of Scalar can definitely help you build all the skills that will enable you to, kind of get the best jobs. Actually, let me share the link for our Discord community that you all can join, which is discord.gg/Scalar. Feel free to join us on Scalar. I'll post it here in the YouTube chat.
Nice, nice. So I think, as we talked about, right, there are two important things that you need in life, Siddharth. One is a good mentor, good mentors, good instructors, and then a good community. Scalar has created the right kind of environment because of which I think we see phenomenal results out of the company. So that is something you will definitely get at Scalar. That's definitely something we maintain at Scalar. So do check it out. Do check out Discord to get a feel of what it's like to be part of the amazing Scalar community. So moving on, Mad Max says I started coding from young age because of my brother. I think he's talking about mentorship, how mentorship is important, and I think it had helped him. So Abhimanyu, just to ask you a question on this. So, do you think it is important to start coding early in life? Just to go on a tangent on this question, how important is it?
Yeah. No, so see, coding is like learning a programming language is not really that hard that you have to start it early, only then you will be able to do it. Uh, like I can tell you my own life story. Before I went to college, I had never touched a computer. I had only seen it from a distance. Right. So I grew up in a very small town where computer was a thing of luxury and kind of
Yeah, definitely.
it was not common for everyone to have a computer. But after going to college, I was able to learn, and then within 6 months, 9 months, I was comfortable as anyone else. Right? So, like, I absolutely do not believe that you have to, learn, start coding, or like from very, very early on in school, etc. But what is much more important is what I believe that what I did in my, let's say, school days or early years, what helped me is building very solid foundation on logic, right? So, like learning logic, learning math, that is what will help you much more in your if you intend to make a long-term career in computer science. Programming languages, trust me, once you have built a strong logic, learning any new programming language might take max 15 days to learn the basics. And
Yeah.
then, of course, you keep learning on that, on top of that forever. Every language is a very big ecosystem. So, no one can ever say that now I have mastered Java. No one in the world has mastered
Yeah.
Java. I remember this very interesting, anecdote here as well. Anshuman shared this that one of the creators of C++ thought that he will join Facebook. He still works at Facebook. Uh, and in the interview, he was asked that how much would you rate yourself on C++, which is a standard question that he rated himself 6 out of 10. He said that I might have created C++, but I would rate myself 6 out of 10 in my knowledge on C++. Right?
Hmm.
So you never learn a language fully, and to learn the basics, you do not need more than 15, 20 days. So do not worry too much about that. Make sure that you are focusing a lot more on building your logic, your number theory, mathematics, etc. Those are much more important things to understand.
Cool. I think the next question actually builds up on this point, right? Maths is probably the important thing that you need to start off coding. That might be a prerequisite, maybe. So Amber asks, he says, "Sir, my maths is weak. क्या competitive coding कर लूं?" So should I get into competitive coding and maybe how?
Okay, this is kind of very very common question. Let's see, here competitive coding is not necessity. Counter to the narrative that got spread that competitive coding ही करना जरूरी है. It's a great sport. You should try it
Yeah.
out if you enjoy it. But you shouldn't be doing like I have to do competitive coding. Like, I never did competitive coding. It doesn't mean that but competitive coding is definitely a great sport to like for example, if you ask me that I want to be a football player, right? Should I go to gym for that? Yes, going to gym would help. But
Hmm.
that doesn't mean that by only going to gym, you might become a bodybuilder or you might or might not become a great football player, right? So competitive
Yeah.
coding is a great thing to do, as going to gym is a great thing to do. But it is not the silver bullet to solve all your problems related to, your
Yeah.
like your career or your growth or becoming a great software engineer. It is just one thing. So no harm, but that doesn't mean that you have to do it. If you are strong with your math, logic, if you are good at development, you are good at solving problems, you know DSNL go well. If you do competitive programming, great. It's not that companies are going to say that if you have not done competitive programming, then I will not have. No company ever says that.
Right. So I think I can talk about this a little bit myself as well. I have been into competitive coding a lot, got some good ranks and some good platforms.
Yeah.
But let me tell you this, guys, competitive coding is a way to secure a good job, right? It's not the only way. You can be great at, let's say, open source developments. That's a fabulous way of getting jobs, probably direct international opportunities you can get from there. If you just build yourself well enough in machine learning, data analysis, those are also important fields, right? So competitive programming is a way, it's not the end, right? And when you get into a company, वहाँ पे no one is asking you to write a code for like it's not a competitive programming code that you have to write, right? You're not solving a DSA question there. What you're doing is you're building upon a real system where optimizations do help, but you need logic more, right? You need the right logic to build out things, and that's the important part which competitive coding reinforces, right? That's why I think competitive coding does help. So focus on your logic, focus on your maths. That's what will help you out in the career. So I think we'll take just last one question. We have a lot, but guys, we'll try to take them next time maybe. But for now, just let's take one more question. So Saurav asks, Abhimanyu, he's saying, how difficult is it to get a tech job if I am from a sales background with 5 years experience?
Got it. So, Saurabh, if you want to change the domain to a tech role, one thing, and given your entire past experience have been in sales, if you want to get into a pure tech job, you will have to start afresh. You will have to start at the entry level, right? If you are okay with that, then the recipe is simple. You have to learn things that companies expect, which is one, you should start building, you should start building command on at least one programming language. You do not need to learn a lot of different programming language. Just make sure that you have learned one programming language enough, which using which you can write whatever logic you have in mind, right? Post that, you need to start learning all the fundamentals of data structures and algorithms. Post that, you should start building some projects, build some, you're going to start out building a basic website, then make it a dynamic web application, build some back end, build some front end. Now, this cannot be a 1 month, 2 month plan, right? Trust me, if you are starting from scratch, see, typically people do a 4 year engineering, right? So,
Yeah.
planning that what people learn in 4 years of engineering, you would be able to do it in 2 months. That's impractical. That's not real, right? This would be at least a year-long plan, right?
Yeah.
So basically, you should start with this. In a year or so, if you are able to accumulate all these skills, if you build some project that you can make live, which you can put on your resume, that these are the kind of applications that I have built out myself, it is always possible to get noticed by employers in the tech domain as well. Then you can start applying, and you can definitely enter the tech space at the entry level. Good thing, however, is that in the tech space, even in the entry level, the kind of salaries which are commanded these days, and the kind of growth that exists there, and actually being from the sales background and then building command on tech is superpower. You will be much more powerful than someone who only knows tech, because you might be able to build tools, solutions, because you also have knowledge how sales processes go, right? So it definitely is a superpower. You can still, you should actually, I would strongly recommend that you should plan it out. But one thing I would want to emphasize is that you will have to make a long-term plan with a lot of consistency. It wouldn't work out if you just spend 1 month on it or 2 months on it, because there are, of course, just like learning sales, learning tech is also hard, right? So yeah, that is what my section is.
Great, great. So I think Saurav, and for anyone else, who is not in tech right now, I think that will solve your dilemma. How to go about this thing, how to probably venture into tech, and I think it's very interesting. One of the sessions that we recently had, we talked about this. If you come from a background which is not tech related, it actually compounds upon your experience in tech, right? It helps you more because you have expertise in more than just one domain. A lot of people who are in tech, they have experience in tech, but if you have experience in sales, marketing, data analysis, stuff like that, it will make you a better engineer. So definitely check that out. And I think Scalar might be able to help you out definitely to be a great engineer if that's what you're trying to go for. So okay, so now I would like to thank all of you for being here with us for so long. So if you do want to check out how we build communities, how Scalar helps people in their communities, and what our mentorship looks like, do check out our Discord channel. And also, I think Abhimanyu talked about this Scalar forever. Mentorship and community, two very important things, and we are building a very special product around it, and it will do wonders. I'm definitely sure of it, and you should definitely check that out. Maybe now, maybe in the future, definitely check it out. It's for everyone, not just restricted to people in tech, but it will be for everyone, and it will be a big event, big surprise for everyone. I think I would like to say. And Abhimanyu, anything you would like to say on an ending note about Scalar Forever?
Right. No, I think Scalar Forever is the initiative towards what we strongly believe in, that in technology, learning is a lifelong journey. Like it's not that you just learn and you are done, right? So Scalar Forever is an initiative to provide that opportunity to everyone, irrespective of where you are, and access to the highest quality tech community out there. Access to the highest quality of the mentors, peers, and very very insightful sessions from the industry leaders, right? So that is what it is. I would request you all to check out scalar.com/forever. Many of you might find it very very interesting.
Awesome, awesome. So, guys, thank you so much, everyone, for being here. And amazing day, amazing session. We would love to see you further on further Chai Pe Charcha sessions. And do like, share, subscribe. You've been here for so long. You asked your questions. You got answers from Abhimanyu. How often do you get your questions answered from such a great guy? Do like, share, subscribe. And thank you so much for joining. Namaste, everyone. Bye bye.
Absolutely. Take care, everyone. Have a great evening. Bye bye.